NABH has categorized operation theatre into two. One is the super specialty OT, another is the general OT. The ophthalmology comes under the general OT category. How to maintain the sterilization will be dealt under two headings. One is the infrastructure and engineering control, another being the managerial control. Better to avoid the ground floor. We also want our OT to be free from contamination and cross-infection. Basically, an operation theatre complex has 4 zones. One is the protective zone, which houses the staff rooms and the recovery rooms. The clean zone is the intermediate between the protective and the sterile zone, and it houses the sterilization area. The third zone is the heart of the operation theatre, which is the sterile zone, and the last is the disposal zone. The ventilation in an operation theatre should have a central AC or a split AC is as good, but there is a strict no to fan usage and window AC. The water tank should be a separate one for the IoT, and it should be cleaned once in a month, and that cleaning has to be maintained in a register or a logbook. The occupancy should be limited to 8 persons, and even the equipment load should be limited to 7 kilowatt. The flooring should be seamless, it should be non-porous and smooth, and most importantly, it should be repeatedly cleanable easily. The walls should have an antibacterial and antifungal paint, dust-proof and moisture-proof. The door should have a self-closing device, and it is always a good idea to have a separate power supply for the costly machines like microscopes and phaco machines. Coming to the sterilization part, which is the most important. Now coming to the operation room and corridor cleaning. No dry dusting, as has already been mentioned. Wet mopping with Bacillocid and formalin fumigation, though it is not preferred by the CDC, but still many of the OTs are still continuing with the formalin fumigation. It can be done in 2 ways, either aerosol spray, or if aerosol spray is not available, it can be done by mixing with potassium permanganate, and on the next morning the fumes are neutralized with liquid ammonia. For a running OT, fumigation should be done once a week. For someone who is a startup OT, fumigation needs to be done on 3 consecutive days, and 3 negative culture needs to be attained. We do the cleaning with a 3-bucket approach, where the first bucket contains the water, the second one contains an antiseptic solution, and the third bucket contains Bacillocid. This is the cleaning protocol. The roof cleaned 3 monthly, wall and floor daily. The refrigerator should be cleaned weekly. The sink and all the OT furnitures will be cleaned daily, and the HEPA filters will be cleaned 3 monthly. The sterilization part, which is the most important, the reprocessing of surgical instrument is of utmost importance because often the source of infection is from our instruments. So there are certain rules that needs to be followed when we are doing the cleaning of the instrument. The cleaning should be done immediately after use. There should be a separate dedicated cleaning staff who will be looking only after the cleaning department and not those staff who are assisting us in the OT. The blunt and sharp instruments should be separated.
The first cleaning occurs on the table itself. The nurse will, with cotton buds, clean the sharp instruments and all the forceps as much as possible in the thing, and they are put in the appropriate polycarbonate boxes. And that's a set which is used for surgery with a couple of cannulas.
While they are getting ready for the surgery. So you can see these are soiled instruments after the surgery which need to be kept in the tray bag. Cannula should be kept separately.
They are first rinsed in the distilled water, processed in the ultrasonic cleaner, and then cleaning is done by the 4-bowl technique. We have lot of hollow instruments in our vitrectomy, phaco machines. All the hollow instruments, the irrigation aspiration cannula as well as the phaco handpiece needs to be flushed with distilled water 3 times. That flushing, as you can see here, is being done with a 60 cc syringe and not a 10 cc syringe. Thrice we'll flush with distilled water, we'll throw that distilled water, and thrice the flushing will be done by air. So that makes a 6 times flushing. after the instruments have been washed, cleaned and scrubbed, we want to dry it. The drying in our OT is done by a hair dryer because any amount of moisture left behind often causes rusting, and we do not want the instrument life to be lessened. So we dry all our instruments with a hair dryer. The sharp instruments tips are clogged with silicone plugs and then kept as set in stainless steel trays. After that is done, it is packed. The packing is separate for steam autoclave and for ethylene oxide. For steam autoclave, the packing is with linen, double layered linen, and on each layer, the chemical indicator strip are attached and date and time is written on that. And for ethylene oxide, the packing is separate, which have indicators which change color after the sterilization process.
We keep a chemical indicator type 4 in it. This chemical indicator is pink in color, and the change of color from pink to blue is optimal for the proper autoclaving. After this, they are being packed. These are all chemical indicators. This tape indicator, the color change from brown to black is essential for the proper autoclaving. Don't forget to mention the date, the time, and the name of the
silicone mats, as you can see there, and they're double decker, and there's no box. We don't use box. That's the viscoelastic, and that's the sharps. So that forms the entire set that you need to do a cataract surgery, and that's how she's going to pack. Yeah, pack. And that's the first pack. First pack is getting ready right now. The instruments need to be dry, and they can be dried with a towel or with a hair dryer. We have a hair dryer which is used. But the instruments what is most important is cleaning the instruments as soon as surgery is over without wasting any time. The cleaning team is totally separate, and they pack it and keep it ready, and then you don't have to be really bone dry.
The different types of wrapping methods. This is the parcel method, wherein you fold in a square pattern with a leading edge so that you get that leading edge to hold when you open it up. This is meant for the staff to start the theatre. The first person to start the theatre, they use this method. So you can see this. When you're opening it, you're holding the leading edge alone, you're not contaminating the inner surface, and you set up the table like this and start the theatre. This is the envelope method, wherein you introduce a sterilized tray or instrument to the surgical site. This is called the envelope method. So here again you have a leading edge for you to hold when you open it up. This is the envelope method of packing. So when you open it, you can hold it like this and still open it up without contaminating the inner part of the sterile and then introduce to the surgical site. This is the envelope method. Now we have moved to disposable gowns, but still in government hospitals we are still using these type of gowns, the cloth material. Then there is a best way of folding it so that the steam penetration will be very good as well as contamination will be minimal. This you can just follow the video. The back portion of the gown is folded inwards. It's very self-explanatory. You can see how it is being folded. The arm is kept in front of it. The entire thing is folded into half. And this again is folded into 3. And 3. Now the center part is lifted, made a W-like fashion. And what ultimately is the shoulder part of the gown comes in top on either side. This allows the penetration of the steam very well because it's in layers, it's not rolled up, it's not tightly packed, it's loosely packed also. The advantage is when you remove it from the autoclave, when you open up, just all what you have to do is just lift it, put your hand inside like that, and it opens up like that. Okay, so this of material in bin, maybe linen you can do. You should never pack it up tight like this. He was going on telling the staff will do. You have a little space there. Actually, should not be done like this. This is what I wanted to do. When you're doing it, give enough space for the steam and preferably in one direction so that the steam penetration and your process is correct. This is the best way of packing it.
Most of the linen and metallic instruments are done on a horizontal autoclave. A vertical autoclave is not preferred because this has no vacuum system. All the autoclave instruments should be used within 48 hours and autoclave logbook must be maintained. For heat labile instruments like tubings, vitrectomy cutters, lenses, ethylene oxide gas sterilizer is used. It takes usually 6 hours, but since the gas is quite toxic, so an aeration period of 72 hours is required.